fire away with questions for Coach Lee.
Clark, have you found the transfer portal to your benefit or the other way?
I think we've been a little slower to participate in it, and I think that's hurt us. After the first couple of seasons, we lost some good players that could have helped us win. I think when you look at um, the offensive performance in 22 that got us within a win of a bowl game to the offensive performance in 23, the thing that stands out is we missed a running game, and our time of possession numbers fell, and um, we lost a pretty good back who ended up getting drafted in the NFL. Who went for 1,000 yards in 22, and he did it at another school in 23. So in those ways, I don't think that we were early in on it. Now this has been an off season of change for us, and we've really strengthened our roster through the use of the portal. And so I think a part of it is just evolving the approach and evolving the model and understanding that this is a part of building a successful team. A part of it is, having an administration that understands when you talk about portal, you're talking about NIL and you're talking about transaction, and that is what it is. And we've needed to weaponize to be able to participate in that. And so ultimately, I guess the story's not finished on whether or not the net benefit or net loss. To this point, we haven't done as much with it, so it hasn't benefited us. I think we've lost some good players. Moving forward, I'm excited for the fact that we're strengthening our roster through transfers.
Why were you slow to participate in the portal?
Part of it is you come in with a blueprint of program building, and this has become a game of team building, and that is what it is. So I think when you look at the work we've done to overhaul our roster in general, we took a more traditional approach, where we wanted to give guys opportunity to change and improve, and we held on to some of the guys that were with the program that when we got there, and I think that's what college football has been. Obviously, it's been turned upside down, and still don't believe in just the total roster purge. I think there's reason to have a blended approach where you're still trying to build a foundation, because for me this has always been about how you sustain success. Now, we unfortunately didn't continue the progress we had made in 2022, and so that set a course for us to make some changes in our approach, and that's what we've done. But that's the reason. It just wasn't a part of the initial design. Part of it's because I think, I'm not totally certain, but December of 2020 is when I accepted the job. I think January 21 is when all this stuff started to come into play, and it's hard to anticipate always where it goes and how it changes, but certainly we sit now in a totally different landscape than we did then.
For the portal itself, not going SEC school to SEC school during this last window, do you, where was that brought up, and how does that benefit, you think, SEC schools from not, having to worry about stealing from your own backyard?
Well, I mean, this is the best league, and we know that, and we realize, as a conference and as coaches in our conference, that um, that many of the players on our rosters, want to play in this league, and so it allows for a little bit of stability through a second portal window, because again, you don't have the option to go to another SEC school. But in the end, I mean, there's enough exposure there in general, and enough option for a player that they're not limited in their ability to transfer. It's just this second window, which is particularly challenging as you head into the summer and really prepare for the season. You want to know the team you have, and so um, maybe it's just a little measure that insulates the roster and the team and allows you to focus on the guys that are here, and gives you a little more certainty about what you're going to have heading into the fall.
How difficult is the month of December to deal with as a head coach?
Did you say difficult?
Yes.
Um, it's something that we're addressing in our profession. it's the combination of a lot of things. And I think in our sport, you're also dealing with postseason, conference championships, playoff, bowl games. All those things are, a priority to your universities, your programs, the players that have given so much to the journey. And on top of that, you're concluding, obviously, a high school recruiting cycle. On top of that, you're opening up a portal window for players to transfer. And no matter how, it doesn't matter if you're going to a bowl game or not, or how the season went. Inevitably, that those things all are going to kind of converge in that month. And so, yeah, it's become a really taxing month. We're going to do the best we can to, as a profession, to look at that and take measures to try to bring back a little bit of balance, so that we can service the team and the players that are there with us and have been with us through the season.
I think it's still a sense of just for
Thanks.
obviously pretty significant offensive changes from
Yeah.
quarterback to offensive coordinator. Obviously, that's an area where your program needs to progress. What did you see in the spring, and what's a little bit of the vision you can give us for where that offense is going?
We needed, again, walking off the field at Tennessee, it was the only thing I knew that was truth was that we had to change moving forward. And I think change means a lot of things. To be a better team, you have to have better players, and that means that you're doing a better job of developing the roster you have. And so we addressed strength and conditioning as an area that needed to improve. Our systems have to be in service of our mission. And like I mentioned earlier, the absence of a run game really hurt our chances to maintain possession and to really move the ball when we needed to move the ball and shorten the game at times. That's a part of our formula right now. And so I wanted to find someone who has run a system that can establish a run game. That was important. Game control drives, where you're looking at time of possession and drives that finish with a touchdown, was another measure I used. A quarterback-friendly system. I wanted to see signals and signs of an explosive passing game. And then, a system that plays mistake-free. And Tim Beck's offense really measured well in all those categories. And obviously, the most glaring aspect of our performance a year ago was we turned the ball over a ton. And there was a 3-game stretch where, we turned the ball over 10 times, 4 of which went back for touchdowns. So that's not a formula for any team to win, but certainly where we are right now as a program and where we need to be, that can't be a part of what we do moving forward. So all of that was factored in. And again, I when you look at we go from 21 at 2-10 to 22, we're 5-7 and on the doorstep of a bowl bid. And I felt like we gave up some of that ground we had taken in 23, but to look at it, how it delivers us to where we are now, I feel really good about, where the team is, the depth on the roster. I felt like we were able to fight to retain some important parts in December. I thought we were able to add to that, particularly on defense, heading into the spring. And then, we've used this second window to weaponize offensively, and the changes in the weight room and changes in our offensive systems is going to serve our mission. And so as disappointing as last fall was, it gave way to necessary changes that put us in better positioning and give us a little better footing on what we want to accomplish.
Vanderbilt has had significant investments in facilities, historically, approaching $1 billion. As you and the athletic department now reflect back on that, the rules of engagement have kind of changed a little bit in college athletics, where you can now weaponize some of that money for the roster and things. I'm just wondering, I'm not saying that there's any regret, because I think the facilities investment were necessary, but do you wonder if that was maybe too extreme and there might be some midstream adjustment?
Yeah, I don't want to go too far and speak into kind of how it all projects out. I can say, again, at the time of the initial process of interviewing for the job, and the landscape of our sport has changed, and really of college athletics has changed totally. And so I think you're only able to sustain and you're only able to achieve as well as you're able to adapt. and to be agile right now is important. And so, as we continue to learn more about what the future holds, we're going to continue to look. And obviously, we have great leadership in Chancellor Diermeyer and Candace Lee. They'll continue to plot a course for us to be successful. Now, if you're asking, am I disappointed that, this facility wasn't built, 7 years ago? Sure. I think part of the reason that I came to Vanderbilt is because I believe in it and I love the university and I love the program. And, my personal mission has been to build it into something that can be sustained and successful, because that's what Vanderbilt deserves. Part of the reason I'm here is because I think there's been some neglect of the program in the past that has not allowed it to reach its potential. And so these things take time. Again, I'm inspired by the leadership we have in our chancellor and our athletics director. I appreciate the support they have in the program that I'm building, but there are no mistakes, and usually what you invest in grows, and what you don't doesn't. And I'm fortunate that I have their support and their backing now, and that we're doing everything we can both to service the program as it stands today and also prepare it for the future of college football, which will be totally different. And we need to be ready for that.
Clark, with the transfer rules or lack of transfer rules at this point, programs like Vanderbilt and some others might be developing a lot of players for other programs. Is there an opportunity with the House settlement and just thinking in general to try to find ways to have roster stability, even if it includes like contracts, things like that?
The the settlement is a first step, and I think it's like a big rock, right? A big rock that then gives room for smaller rocks, and that's going to be where I think the details become really what establishes our course forward. So, employment isn't a part of this settlement. That hasn't been addressed in it. And I know Commissioner spoke on this yesterday. I mean, that's not a place that I'll go, because that's something that is being handled at leadership levels. I think ultimately we all want something that gives us a little better an ability to service the players and the teams that we have. And this is not about convenience for me or convenience for coaches. It's about the ability to deliver an experience that over time can be life-changing and transformative. And we don't know the long-term ripple effects of the changes that have already taken place. We'll find those out in the next 5 or 10 years as we see the ripple of some guys that will have gone to 4 different schools. There will be success stories that come of that, and there will also be stories of people that didn't develop because they were hopping from lily pad to lily pad on the top of the pond and never dove in and actually took the plunge and developed. So to answer your question, I think the first step is this settlement. I think everything that comes after is what's going to give us the guardrails to do the things we need to do in service of the student athlete.
Are you anxious, Clark, to hear what the rules and regulations are? I mean, basic things like the size of your roster and how you'll.
I think I enjoy these meetings. I always enjoy being in the room with my peers. I think there's always interesting conversation, and obviously to hear from Commissioner and all that stuff is something I look forward to. I think this year in particular, there's a lot to discuss, and so yes, I want to, as long as I'm able to serve in the role, I want to be a great conduit to Vanderbilt certainly, and the success at Vanderbilt, but also just to be in service of the game and in our profession, and how we continue to build community and leadership within our programs. And so I feel honored and privileged to be in these discussions, and I don't take it lightly. And so it'll be a couple days of hard work, but there's a talented group of men that are going to be in spirited discussion about how we move forward. I think that's what we need right now, and I think that's I'm excited to be a part of it.
What have you heard about the potential scholarship, the roster size and everything, and could lead to more competitive balance, more level
what I've heard is that everything that I've heard is not to be trusted. No, I mean, I think that all that stuff's to be determined. And I want to know a little more about all of it. You know, I mean, I think to speak on it now or to share an opinion now is irresponsible. I mean, I want to learn about everything that's going on before I shape an opinion. And again, and we come out of a room united in what that looks like for us, or what we're going to ask for, or what we were looking for. But I don't think anything has been established as a hard line, and I think there's a lot of speculation out right now that I'm not really paying attention to.
Anything else?
How harder is it to be a head coach today than even when you took the job, as you mentioned, Coach?
There are challenges, but God, is that not the fun of it? So I'm not going to ever complain about being a head coach. This is a dream of mine, and you know, to sit with the backdrop of SEC behind me and to think about everything that I get to do, that's where I focus my energy. I got a team that's training right now back in Nashville. I'm excited to get back with them and go to work. And so I believe challenges in life are meant for us, and you know, it's an exciting time to be a head coach. And so yeah, let's have a great week and see where we're at on the back end of it, but keep charging forward, because this game is worth it. And it's given us so many great men and women and people that have come together to solve problems. It'll continue to do that. We need to fight for the game and make sure that we're doing everything we can to set it up for long-term success.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.